Welcome to Kanuka Home Practice, everybody. I'm Stu. I'm going to be guiding this power flow class as we work towards the peak pose of Dolphin. So, similar to downward facing dog, Dolphin Pose is an inversion where the heart space is above the head. So what that does is reverses the blood flow and improves circulation to all parts of the body, especially circulation of blood to the brain. With that in mind, inversions are not for everybody. Do check if you have any injuries or ailments where going upside down doesn't feel so good. Keep in mind, Dolphin Pose is on the forearms and it's a fairly gentle inversion. We'll be working to open up the shoulders a bit in the flow and playing with Dolphin towards the end. I've got a blanket and a block as props today, so if you have something lying around the house that resembles a towel or a blanket or a book or a block, feel free to grab that. And we can make a start today in our child's pose. So taking your knees wide, your big toes can touch. I've got a blanket under my knees for a bit of extra comfort, reaching your arms forwards, starting to lengthen your spine, and the forehead might like to nestle down on the mat. Sinking your hips back towards your heels and taking some time now just to notice your physical body. Starting to connect in with your breath. Noticing what feels good in your body right now, and noticing what might need a bit of extra care and attention as we move today. Giving yourself some time and space to settle in. In today's practice, we'll be flowing towards our Dolphin Pose, which requires the shoulders to be quite open. So keep the shoulders in mind. Now start to check how that space is feeling for you. You might like to come onto the fingertips of your hands, raising the elbows off the ground in your child's pose. A little bit more activation here. And just taking another 4 or 5 rounds of your breath, starting to match the length of your inhales with the length of your exhales. Being conscious of your breath, turning the attention and focus to your breath. And we can walk the hands in towards the body. We're going to take a child's pose variation, Sasankasana. So let's bring the knees close in together. The arms can extend behind you, behind your waist. And we're going to tuck the chin in towards the chest, kind of curling the back, curling the spine a little bit here. So this is our capsule pose. Again, give yourself some time and space to focus in on your breath, noticing what there is to notice in the body. And if it feels good, you might find space for more of a tuck of the chin. Top of the forehead can rest down close to the knees. And let's walk the arms and hands out in front to the top of the mat. Keep the knees where they are. We're coming into our supported plank. So taking a little half dip on your out breath. Inhale, lifts you up. Exhale, sink the hips back to the heels. And we'll flow forwards on your inhale. Find a dip on your exhale. Inhale up, exhale back to child's pose. flowing forwards and back with your breath, starting to warm up here. Make the movement yours. So you can try with the elbows quite close in towards the torso, or you might like to try one with the elbows kind of poking out a little bit. And notice how much space you need, what feels good. Once more forwards, find that little dip. And let's meet in a tabletop, so the hands will be underneath the shoulders and knees underneath your hips. And we're going to start with some scapular presses. So I said we're working a bit on the shoulders today, so bringing some awareness and attention to the shoulders. So keeping the arms extended, you can have a little bend in the elbows if you like. And instead of doing cat-cow, we're going to isolate the movement to the torso. So start to broaden your upper back. Start to feel like the shoulder blades are moving away from each other. You're kind of doming, rounding the upper back, pushing the ground away, and you can almost tuck the chin in a little bit here as well. And then keeping the arms fairly extended, we're going to start to sink the torso down and towards the mat, and the shoulder blades are going to start to draw in towards each other. So it's kind of like the torso collapses down a little bit, but the arms are still extended nice and long. And then let's broaden through the upper back again. So these are scapular presses. And let's sink the torso down, the shoulder blades draw in. And then we broaden and dome through the upper back. So it's kind of like we're flowing through cat-cow, but we're not using the entire spine here. We're isolating the movement to the upper back, really targeting the shoulder blades, the upper back body. So just another 2 of these, again bringing the awareness and the attention to the shoulders, upper back body, and to your breath. And now let's come down onto the forearms. So have the forearms down in train track-like position. And you want to have the elbows just underneath the shoulders, and you can give yourself a little indication by taking opposite elbows with the hands, and that will tell you whether they're too far away or too close in. You kind of want to just have it at a comfortable length here. And we're just going to get comfortable with the elbows down. Again, you're welcome to always use a blanket for extra padding, like I've got underneath my forearms here. The palms facing down, fingers facing forwards. And we can just start to sway the hips side to side here. Give yourself some time to become comfortable being down on the forearms. This will be our foundation for the Dolphin Pose towards the end of class. And let's stop with the sway, and we can bring those scap presses into this position here. So you can really start to bring the awareness to the shoulders, the upper back body, and we can do the same thing. So start to broaden the upper back. It's a little bit tougher to move down on the forearms, so that's why we started in tabletop on the hands. And let's sink the torso down so the shoulder blades draw in towards each other, and then we round and dome the upper back, separating the shoulder blades, broadening the upper back body, and let's sink the torso down. So scap presses on the forearms and on the knees. So you're always welcome to modify and change the poses to suit your practice better. Otherwise, keep following me. We're going to keep building the intensity. This is our power flow, so we will be building some heat and energy. So let's take the knees a little bit further back. So we're going to come into like a supported forearm plank now. So a bit more weight in the forearms. And we'll again find those scap presses. So kind of sinking the torso down, the shoulder blades draw in towards each other. And then we round and try to dome the upper back. Tuck the chin. And let's sink down. Starting to build some energy here. Stay with it. Scap presses. And we're going to do one more with the knees off the ground. So this is going to be tough. We'll do 3 of these. So lower down and then up and around the back. Lower down and then round the upper back body. Once more, down, shoulder blades draw in, and then up and away. And the knees come down. Let's extend the arms long. Hips will be above the knees for our puppy pose. So let's sink the torso down and towards the mat. The forehead might come down, the chin might touch down, or the torso. And creating some space for the shoulders. If you want to come onto the fingertips here, raising the elbows off the ground, you can do so. Coming back to the breath. And let's walk the hands in towards the body. Tuck in the toes. Send the hips back to the heels, giving your toes and your feet a bit of a stretch. Take a few little bounces here. Nice release for your feet. If I've been cooped up in shoes a lot, this can feel really good. And let's untuck the toes, give the feet a bit of a pitter-patter. We'll take our Shalavasana arms, so interlace the hands behind your back. From this kneeling position, open the shoulders, lift the gaze. And we can release that. Let's plant the hands down and we'll come into our first downward facing dog. So just getting yourself ready, plant the hands down, lifting the hips towards the ceiling and allow for a nice bend in your knees for this first down dog. Extending the arms, lengthening your spine from the tail through the crown of the head. And we're going to take a few squat dogs here. So take the feet as wide as the mat, and we can bring in a really nice big bend into the knees. So kind of like squatting down a little bit, but still keeping that length in the spine. And you're welcome to take a few bounces here. So good way to warm up the thighs a little bit. This bouncing motion really great for your connective tissue. Good for your fascia, the elasticity of all the connecting tissues around the body that connect the muscles to the bones. And let's wave ourselves forwards into high plank. The feet can still be wide on the mat. And let's come back into that squat dog. So down dog, bending into the knees, finding a squat. Few bounces. And let's wave ourselves forwards into high plank. And back into that squat dog. One more time, few bounces. And walk the feet back into be hip distance apart. You're in a normal down dog position. And we're going to walk the feet all the way forwards to the top of the mat. Inhale for halfway lift. Hands come to prayer, crown of the head reaching forward, flat back. And exhale breath, find your fold, your inversion. The heart is going to be above the head. Might like to take opposite elbows. Start to bend and straighten one leg at a time. A gentle sway side to side. Taking whatever option you prefer for your forward fold. Making the practice your own. And let's rise. So grounding down through the feet as we start to rise and unravel all the way to standing at the top of the mat. Reach the arms up overhead. Little back bend. Feeling some lengthening through your front chain. And lower the hands down to Anjali Mudra, heart center, setting an intention for your practice today. Closing down the eyes. Sending yourself some positive gratitude. Smiling if it feels good to do so. You can breathe in that intention and sigh it away. And let's begin our flow. So inhaling the arms up overhead. Soften the knees, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, breath, halfway lift. And exhale, hands come down. Let's step the right leg back, lower the right knee, and lift the arms for our low lunge. Again, feeling some tightness in the front chain, opening that front body, and the hands can float down. Let's lift the back knee, plant the back foot down. I'm just going to remove this blanket out of the way. Plant the back foot down, and we're going to straighten into the front leg here. So this is where the block can be quite handy. Bring the ground a bit closer to you. We're in our pyramid pose. Both soles of the feet down, hinging at the hips. Lengthening your left hamstring. Building some strength in your legs and your spine. And let's step that back foot to the back of the mat. And let's bend into the front knee. So we're in our lunge legs, and we'll raise the arms up. High lunge. And let's plant the hands down to frame the foot. We'll step back into our high plank. And instead of doing a vinyasa, this time we're just going to come down onto the forearms. So the elbows are beneath the shoulders, palms down, and we're in our forearm plank here. And if you want a bit of extra spice for this one, you can start to rock forwards and backwards, keeping the hips in line with the shoulders. So we're just going to stay here for 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Use your breath. Conserve your energy. 3, 2, and 1. You can plant the knees down, come back onto the hands, lift the hips, downward dog. Take a breath here. And we're going to step the right foot to the front of the mat, and you can help it through with your hand if you need to. Lower the back knee, untuck the back toes, and raise the arms. Low lunge, lengthening your front chain. And exhale, hands come down to frame the foot. We'll lift the back knee, plant the back sole of the foot down, and straighten into that front leg for your pyramid pose. Introducing the block if you have it handy. And let's step the back foot towards the back of the mat. The back heel will lift, and we bend into the front knee, raising the arms, your lunge. Reaching up with the fingertips, and let's plant the hands down. We're going to step to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, forward fold. And we're going to rise all the way to stand. Unraveling the spine, reach the arms up. And straight away, soften the knees, forward fold. Inhale, breath, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. We step the left foot back, lower the back knee, untuck the back toes, and raise the arms. Low lunge. Feeling that tightness in the front chain, a little back bend here. Hands can float down. We lift the back knee, plant the back sole of the foot down, and we're in our pyramid, straightening the front leg. Hands can float down. We step the back foot a little bit further back, bend into the front knee, and raise the arms up for our lunge. Back knee is lifted, reaching up to the heavens. And hands come down. Let's step back into our high plank. And same thing, let's come down onto the forearms. Just getting comfortable being on the forearms, palms down. And just feeling the belly button draw in towards the spine here. So this is a bit of a core workout here. And again, for that extra spicy option, feel free to rock forwards and backwards. And again, we'll hold here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And you're welcome to place the knees down or lift yourself back up into high plank and walk the feet in for your down dog. Sinking one heel down, then the other. Give yourself some time and space. And let's step the left foot to the front of the mat. Lower the back knee, untuck the back toes, and raising the arms. Low lunge. And hands come down to frame the foot. Let's lift the back knee, place the back sole of the foot down, straightening that front left leg, lengthening your hamstring, hinging at the hips, using the block if you have it. And we'll place the block away. We'll step the back foot a little bit further back. Back heel is raised, bending into the front knee, and raise the arms. High lunge. Lifting your back thigh up to the roof, reaching up. And hands come down to frame the front foot. Let's step forwards to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale all the way to rise, reaching up. And swing the arms back. Let's sit down into our Utkatasana chair pose. Hands can be quite wide, might give you more space for the shoulders. Sinking down into your chair. Seeing if we can smile with the breath. Feeling the thighs start to light up. And we'll lower all the way down to the mat. Any graceful way you want to sit down. And then we'll come into our boat pose. So hands beneath the thighs here. You can have the hands down by your waist as well. And let's see if we can start to straighten the legs. Lifting the torso. Maybe pointing the toes. Lifting the feet a little bit higher. And let's lower the torso, lower the legs, coming into our low boat. So the hands can be down by your waist, really doming in through the core here. If you want a little bit more, you can have the hands in this cactus shape. And just staying here for a 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's lift the knees, lift the torso, hands beneath the thighs. Soles of the feet can touch, knees wide. And hinging at the hips. Find a little counter in this butterfly pose. And we'll come back for one more round of boat. So you have options with the hands beneath the thighs here, or hands down by the waist, pointing the toes. You're in control of how far you want to straighten the legs, but let's try one more time, straightening the legs. The hands down by the waist can be a really good balancing tool here. Lifting the torso, belly button tucks in. And let's lower the legs, lower the torso, coming into our low boat. Pointing the toes, start to hollow out the body, feeling the abdomen area engage. For a little bit more, have the hands in this goalpost shape out by the hands by the ears. And for another 3, 2, and 1, and let's try to lift ourselves up, back into boat. Awesome, everybody. Let's plant the soles of the feet down, knees wide, hinging at the hips. Little counter. And let's roll over the ankles, or any way you want to come into your tabletop position. And we'll move into our peak pose for today, our dolphin. So hopefully the shoulders are feeling nice and open. You can take one more round of Shalabhasana arms. So interlace the hands behind the back, pressing the hands away, shoulders lower, and the shoulder blades draw in towards each other. Releasing that, roll out the shoulders a bit. And let's come down onto the forearms. So take your time. We've got a few minutes here towards the back end of the practice to just find this dolphin pose. So again, just making sure you have the right distance with your elbows. You can take the hands to each opposite elbow, like we did at the start, and palms facing down. If you have that block handy, can be a good one to have the block for the hands to hold on to, just as a good indication of where the hands need to be. That's up to you. And when you're ready, we can tuck the toes in, keeping the elbows where they are. Sometimes they have a tendency to flare out. So just being aware, being conscious as you start to move in this shape. But when you're feeling ready, you can start to lift the hips like you do for down dog and walk the feet in towards the arms. Invite a nice big bend in the knees and find your dolphin. So if there's space and it feels good, you can start to lower one heel into the mat, into the earth, and then the other. And finding your dolphin pose. Possibly staying here for another 3 rounds of your breath. And let's lower the knees down. You can walk the hands slowly in towards the body and finding your way into a kneeling position. And just taking a few rounds of your breath, just reaping the benefits of that inversion. Noticing how the body feels here. Feel that fresh flow of blood around the body. Take a moment to just notice what there is to notice. And we can do another couple of rounds of dolphin. So that first one with the forearms down, lifting the hips towards the ceiling and just pedaling your dolphin out is option 1. If you want to play with some leg raises, then join me for this next round. Again, always modifying, changing the poses as it suits you and your practice. So lifting the hips, walking the feet a little bit in towards the forearms. So if you're feeling stable and like this space in your dolphin, raise the right leg up. Similar to 3-legged dog, but in dolphin pose with the forearms down. Raising that right leg up. And let's lower the right leg. We'll raise the other side. Left leg up. Keeping the breath flowing helps to conserve your energy. And left leg lowers down. Hold your dolphin for another 3, 2, and 1. And knees come down. Slowly walk the hands in towards the body and find your kneeling position. Slowly lifting the head back to a neutral position. Again, just focusing on your breath. Feeling the body after that inversion. And we're going to do one more round. So you have 2 options already. One is just your regular dolphin, forearms down, walking your dolphin out, which is lowering one heel down and then the other. You have the leg raises, which we just did on that last round. Otherwise, as a 3rd round, you can, and if it's in your practice, you can play with some dolphin hops. So that means raising one leg up and then gently finding a bit of air time. It can be really good to do that up against a wall, and that is the lead-in towards Pincha Mayurasana, which is a forearm inversion, a forearm balance. We are focusing on dolphin today, so I'll just do another round of the leg raises, so you can follow me for that round again. But again, do have a play with Pincha Mayurasana if you are heading towards that pose in your practice. Just being kind to yourself first and foremost, and give yourself that wall support if you think you need it. It's a good way that I try to learn as well, using the wall. But joining me for this final round, forearms down, palms flat into the mat, sinking one heel down then the other, finding your dolphin pose, and let's raise the right leg up. So if you were to go for a hop here, the thing to do is to keep the right leg raised, bend into the left knee, and then find a little bounce. But again, that's only if that is for your practice today. We're focusing on dolphin with the leg raises. Let's lower the right leg down, and we'll change sides. Left leg up towards the sky. Keep raising that left leg up. And left leg lowers down, holding your dolphin for another 3, 2, and 1. Let's lower the knees. Slowly bring the arms and the hands in towards the body. Lifting the head nice and slow. And just taking a few rounds of your breath. Slowing down your out breath. Inversions can feel quite different for a lot of different people, so taking some time to reap those rewards. When we go upside down, we can change the direction of our blood flow, sending fresh new blood around the body, especially into the brain. And let's roll out to one side, come down onto your back. Final poses before we wind the practice down, so hug the knees in towards the belly. Roll yourself side to side, creasing up the back. And extending your right leg long, left arm out to the side. Let's take the left knee across the body for a supine twist. And you have an option here to stay in the twist, or you can bend into your right foot, your right knee, and take your left hand to the right foot. Cat grabbing its tail. Keeping the shoulders and the torso facing towards the roof. Shoulders flat down on the ground. Slowing the breath. And let's release the tail. Bring the knees back in towards center. Give yourself another squeeze. And to the other side, the left leg goes long on the mat, right arm out to the side, and draw the knee across the body here. You can take that same cat grabbing the tail option, so bending into the left knee this time, right hand to the left foot. Let's unravel, release the tail, hug the knees in towards the belly. And when you're ready, you can extend your legs long on the mat, arms up by your waist, or having one hand on your belly, one on your heart space. Taking your Shavasana to close out the practice. Feeling heavy and supported with the ground beneath you, slowing down the practice, just finding your breath, feeling the breath. So that concludes our power flow on Kanuka home practice today. That was our Dolphin Pose. Feel free to stay a little while longer in your Shavasana or seated meditation, or if you're feeling like you want to move a bit more, you can keep going with that sequence and that flow, keep having a play with dolphin, perhaps finding a wall and having a play with those dolphin hops if that's something you want to try. remembering it is an inversion, so we are changing the direction of the blood flow, and give yourself a lot of time and space before you come back into a standing position after being upside down. It can cause a bit of lightheadedness, so take your time, connect into the breath as always, and I hope you enjoyed the practice today. Thank you for letting me guide you through that power flow. Namaste.